Mom, Dad, family, friends, and everybody else out there, listen up. Many of us are too young to vote, and we need you to vote for us to protect our future. The rest of us are simply scared that you're missing the whole point.
This is not a personality contest. This is the real thing.
Just like you tell us, you gotta do your homework. Please pay attention to the facts and the issues. Get as much information as you can.
It takes time to get informed, but what could be more important?
Almost everyone agrees that this is the most critical election ever. Let us tell you why.
Republicans attack Democrats for an alleged tax and spend philosophy, while ignoring the fact that they've spent even more, and at the same time reduced taxes.
We're in a serious economic downturn, and it happened on Bush's watch. Bush inherited an economy with a $269 billion surplus and has run it into a current $349 billion deficit.
As a result, our national debt has increased from $5.7 trillion in 2000 to $9.7 trillion and rising. Who's going to pay off these debts? I guess us. Thanks.
Our military is stretched to the breaking point, with the same heroic soldiers going back to war over and over again. And each time that happens, the odds of their safe return go down.
We must start lowering their time in harm's way and force the Iraqi politicians to create an environment that allows the various ethnic groups to live peacefully.
No outside country, no matter how many tanks and planes they possess, can force this to happen.
It's bad enough over 4,000 have died and over 20,000 have been injured. Obama is ready to bring our troops home now. McCain wants to continue our presence, even without a clear mission.
Unemployment is over 6% and climbing.
That's our future job market disappearing right before our eyes.
The Supreme Court recently handed down a decision supporting the right for individuals to own weapons.
But at the same time, they provided a clear window for creating reasonable controls over these weapons. Military-style guns like AK-47 should not be a household item.
President Clinton outlawed them. President Bush allowed them back.
And we're nervous that McCain and Palin will make sure that they stay.
We trust Obama will support the Second Amendment, but keep us safe from these weapons. We don't need AK-47s in our cities and homes.
With all due respect to McCain and Palin, ask yourself if you would have voted for Governor Palin for president during the primaries.
We believe McCain's choice of Palin for vice president reveals that he put his politics ahead of his country. How can they be running on a country-first platform?
And please, vote for someone who is very clear about the separation of church and state.
Religious freedom is what our forefathers fought for.
Faith is personal and should not play a role in our government.
McCain has proposed tax breaks, especially for wealthy people and big companies, just like President Bush. And we know how wrong that approach was. Yes, Obama is willing to raise taxes, but only on the very wealthy, and his plan will cut taxes for everyone else.
That's why you should support a tax plan that will actually help your household and our country get back on its feet.
President Clinton used a similar approach, which kept the economy healthy.
The more allies we have, the easier it will be to deal with our enemies, and the better it will be for all kinds of global interactions. We've got to survive on the planet with others, even those who don't think exactly like we do.
What happened to diplomacy?
The rest of the world is either ticked off at us or laughing at us.
We need a president who will repair our relationships in the world.
We cannot be bullies. Isn't that what you teach us on the playground? Our country is totally addicted to expensive foreign oil. Enough already.
Offshore drilling will not solve our problems anytime soon. Even the oil industry acknowledges that new drilling won't help the situation for at least 10 years.
And the more we invest in drilling, the less we invest in clean new technologies.
We need to stimulate innovation now and become energy independent.
Let's make sure our troops are cared for and rewarded properly when they return. Obama has supported an expansion of the GI Bill to increase health and education benefits for returning soldiers.
How can McCain, who served, as we all know, with courage, vote against taking care of our veterans? He did it because he wanted to dilute any incentive for our GIs to leave the military. It's disgraceful.
Our nation has a proud history of fighting for women's rights, and this election is critical.
McCain doesn't want the government to regulate the economy, but he wants to let the government come into the home and regulate the most personal and private decision a woman might ever make.
Obama supports a woman's right to choose. So does most of the modern world.
But the McCain ticket has said it is their intent to appoint Supreme Court justices who will overturn Roe v. Wade.
Since there are 3 judges that will be over 74 when the next president takes office, and 1 is over 88, it is very likely that at least 3 judges will be replaced over the next 4 years. Please don't let them take us backwards.
With the median household income at $48,000 a year and health care costing $12,000 a year, it's not surprising that 1 in 6 Americans are not insured.
Obama has a plan to provide quality health care for all. Most nations in the world have this in place, and it works.
He also believes that the United States should lead the world in empowering people with disabilities to take full advantage of their talents.
Why can't we find a way to give all Americans the benefit that science has created, to live long and healthy lives, regardless of how wealthy we are?
Education? We're living it. We need better teachers, more funding, and accountability. This has to be a real priority for the next administration. We can't compete with the rest of the world if we keep falling behind. And as a nation, we are falling behind.
Obama realizes that with a better education, better teachers will rise and then provide an even better education for the kids of the next generation, and the cycle of better teaching and learning will begin.
Our bridges and tunnels in cities are falling apart. Rebuilding our infrastructure would create jobs, stimulate the economy, and keep us all safer.
Obama has suggested these measures. What are we waiting for? Senseless war has put us in the position of rebuilding other countries when we should be rebuilding our own.
How can anyone say that our economy is fundamentally strong? John McCain actually said that on the day the stock market fell 500 points.
Government regulation would have kept the housing market from crashing and taking the whole economy down with it.
Major financial firms were crumbling, and thousands of jobs were being lost.
McCain has always been against regulation. Now all of a sudden he's for it? How can he get away with that?
Even a recent Wall Street Journal editorial harshly criticized McCain for not having a clue as to the magnitude of the problem or its solution.
Do we find Obama inspiring? Absolutely. And what's wrong with that? America historically does better with a charismatic president who inspires people and makes us optimistic about our future. The economy does better too.
Please, vote for Obama and Biden. They'll act decisively and quickly when needed.
But they aren't afraid to stop and think, and even blink if it means making a better decision.
We want our leaders to be the smartest people we can find. Let's not vote for them just because they'd be fun to hang out with. Obama and Biden have the education, intelligence, and judgment to tackle the complex national and international issues we face.
So everyone out there who can vote, don't make this election a popularity contest or a game of strategy. Don't accept clever sound bites or shallow promises.
Do whatever you have to. Get educated about these issues. Read the papers, watch the debates, get on the internet, and do your homework.
Learn as much as you can before November 4th.
Don't let us down.